Hi everyone, it's Rachel with the video blog number 3 about elicitation, analysis, and specification. Our discussion this week was about user requirements on how we go about figuring out user requirements for a prescription process, on how to update a prescription process. So user requirements are things that the user or consumer needs. For example, a nurse may need a software where he or she can document vital signs but access lab work as well. And 4 elements of user experience is it useful, value? Is it easy to work with, usability? Is it easy to start using, adaptability? And is it fun and engaging, desirability? The elicitation technique model is used to determine the user's requirements specifically. So in the prescription process, we need to determine what the user needs from this new prescription process. Some different techniques or models include interviews, observations, and meetings. With interviews, I can ask doctors how the prescription process can be updated. Maybe the staff will say that the software is old and it needs updating, or there needs to be a new prescription distribution machine. With observation, I can observe how nurses and doctors dispense medications and prescriptions to patients. Are medications stored in an OmniCell, which is like basically a big medicine cabinet where nurses and doctors need a code to get inside the medicine cabinet or machine, and then once they punch in the code, they tap on the patient's name or room number, and then it will have a list on the screen of what medication that patient is on, and then the nurse could choose what medication they want to give, and then the machine pops that medication out. Or are there medications locked up in the patient's room in a med drawer? And I've seen this too, where they have a med drawer, and again, they punch in a code, but instead of like the med drawer telling the user that, oh, this machine contains tramadol or Tylenol or things like that, the medicines are usually just piled together in the drawer. And then the nurse will have to scan that medication so the system logs that the nurse gave that certain medication. With meetings, I could have a group of staff members in one place and interview them all at the same time. Unlike one-to-one interviews, a meeting allows me to brainstorm with the staff and see what their specific needs are. In the meeting, I am able to rate each need on a scale from most important to the least important, and then the staff could discuss that back and forth. For analysis, the analysis model serves to find out what the customer wants are, establish why there is a need for this new software, in this case, the new prescription system, and define the requirements once the prescription software is built. An analysis model that can be used is the data flow diagram, which can show how data moves through the prescription system and the functions it takes to transform that data. The data diagram shows how activities are processed and how data is exchanged. And then this is just a simple example that I found where a customer was buying an item. So the customer makes an inquiry, and then the system processes that inquiry, and then it goes to the item store, which has the item information. Then there's the customer store, and then the customer details, and then the customer orders whatever item she or he wants, and then the order gets processed, and then the order details go to the order store, and then the items and invoices sent to the customer. For our prescription process, the data flow diagram can show how a nurse gets prescription or medication out of the OmniCell. In the rehab where I work, daily medications for each patient is found in McKesson, and the patient's ID band is linked to McKesson, which is also linked to the OmniCell software. So first, the nurse will have to check the patient's medication in McKesson. I will then go on either to the patient's room where non-narcotic medicines are held in the med cart, or they will go to the OmniCell to get the medication out. Once the medication is received, they will scan the patient's armband and then scan the medication so the system can read what medication was given and at what time. And once they scan the medication, the system also charts that the nurse gave the medication and what the dose was and so on and so forth. For specification, an SRS or a software requirement specification model can be used to find out what the expected outcome of the prescription software is. It is a document that is produced during the analysis stage as well, and it goes into detail on what the goal of the software is. For example, is the goal to dispense medication quicker, or is the goal to have more medication on hand in case of shortages? The document includes a description of the software. It also describes different functions and how the new system should work, behave, and it also includes the design and different criteria. And then this is the citation that I used. And thank you.